Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for tuning in today, Sunday, for Lions Talk Live Morning Show edition. We've got the regular season finale here. The question's going to be, does MCDC roll the dice and go for the big win, trying to get us to potentially the number 2 seed? Maybe he just wants to establish some momentum, whatever it may be. All eyes will be on the sidelines throughout this game, seeing who's staying in, staying out every drive. And you know what? Hey, we'll just have to trust in Dan and Brad and see where they go with things. But it is a real opportunity for a lot of younger guys to get out there and put out something on tape, get some snaps, get some reps, and potentially grow and develop a little bit. Lions coaching staff probably going to, I'm guessing, and that's all it is, a guess, is probably going to leave the starters in a few drives, go for it from there. We've talked all week. I do think the secondary is probably going to get a few more snaps than that, just so they can work in CJ Gardner a little bit and just kind of move some guys around, get some experimenting done before you have the playoffs getting going. All right, before we get into all of today's show, as you guys know, a couple things I got to do and say, all that kind of jazz. So if you haven't subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Trying to make a push to get to, say, 5,700 subs by the start of the playoff game. I mean, if we could do it today, hey, I won't complain. But, by the start of the playoff game, we're, I don't know, somewhere like 80 subs away from 5,600. So if you're enjoying the show and you got a moment of time, please consider doing so. Also, if you like the content, hit that thumbs up thingy. Last thing, before we get into the show, hey, outside of being a coach and a YouTuber, I do real estate and have, since the dawn of time, basically. If you're looking to buy or sell property in the state of Michigan, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text. You see my number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let's see what I can do to help put a smile on your face and try to help you save some money on either the purchase or sale of a property. All right, with all them formalities out of the way, let's get to the comments section, because I was sitting here doing some stats on our contest last night, which was a victory, thankfully, and I put up the thumbnail, and I was like, wow, man, people are ready to go for this game, so let's not waste any further time. Let's go and get into it. 9 drinks. It will heal faster and unwrappable. Okay, we'll go with that. Hopefully you're having a good morning there, 9 drinks. Hopefully you're having a great day too, man. Brent, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Let's end the regular season with a win. Have a safe trip, Bit Lady. Okay, we'll go with that. Hopefully Bit Lady has a good trip as well. Yes. All right. Ed, I recently watched a compilation of all games the Lions have been cheated on. Oh, the memories of failed organization. On our way back from our game last night, we were talking about that a little bit, the coaching staff. And one thing we were talking about is the Lions have, no other way to say it, the Lions have been jobbed for 2 decades now, somewhere around there. You'd say, yeah, the officials, like you're saying, Ed, really have come after us, really have made some calls and then taken away some calls that we're all scratching our head of what's going on. And, I've done a video or 2 on it. So if you really want a deeper dive into it, go ahead and look that up. There's a lot of reasoning that goes behind it or whatever. And to your point, Ed, yeah, it's just a lot of head scratchers, man. So somebody said something bad about somebody's mama, and this is probably the end result. All right, Brother Ken, Lion Syndicate and other morons are afraid of you and the family. You are original, passionate, and knowledgeable. They're scared of you. It happens, man. I mean, look at my hair, man. It intimidates a lot of people. It's very intimidating hair. So we'll go on from that, man. Everybody's got their own thing. I'm just not sure why some people, the world of the internet has got stuff for everybody out there. And I have come to notice some people get very, I guess, worried about it if somebody else starts making content. So it is what it is, man. They're not talking about me. They're not talking, well, they might be talking about me, but if they're not talking about my Mountain Dew and they're not talking about my hair, we're probably good to go. All right. Robert G, good morning to the coach and the Honolulu Blue Dew crew. Still no responses from the Pepsi-Cola company about the chat's idea of a Honolulu Blue Dew product out there, and hopefully we can get that at some point. JDC, good morning all. Go Lions. Good morning to you too, my friend. Hopefully you have a good one. Brother Kent, Lions Syndicate is so fragile he cancels everyone who disagrees with them. Dude is weak. Well, I guess that is the power of running a channel. If you got somebody who doesn't, have your same vision, then yeah, you can do that. Is what it is. I actually I don't mind it if somebody hops in and has a different take or thought on something, because you know what? That's usually how you find common ground and the truth on something, is listening to all sides of it, not just being a dictator and saying I'm right and you're wrong. And that usually doesn't work well. But everybody's got their own thing, so go with it. All right, Brett. My thoughts also, brother Ken. All right. Ed, let's see. I know Sheila is not the same old Lions, so I pray for different results and MCDC to play smarter football by not taking points off the board when we are field goal situations, especially in the playoffs. Ed, that's a very good point. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in the postseason. Is he still going to be gambling man Dan Campbell? That really should be a T-shirt, by the way. Or is he going to play more conservative? Right, wrong, or indifferent. The only thing I would say is, as a coach, be who you are. I'll say to probably the end of the time, when I was covering for the AP, the Lions, part of it was during the Millen years. And what I will say is, I had no doubt that Matt Millen knew football, knew how to assess talent, players, etc. What I do think he fell victim to, and right out the gate, was that he listened to everybody else as far as who to draft, who to take, or whatever. Steve Mariucci, and this is ancient history, so I guess it doesn't matter talking about now, but Steve Mariucci and Millen got into a real good chat, I guess you could say, a heated chat a few times, from my understanding. And I don't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. He was like a 5th-round quarterback. He had a cannon for an arm, and the dude was mobile. And Mooch really wanted to keep him as the future franchise quarterback. And I think at that point, Millen, even though he knew that was probably the better pick than Joey Harrington, kept listening to the media, listening to everybody else about, hey, you got to take Harrington. You got to take Harrington. And just, and that's just one example of where he probably fell victim to. But I guess ultimately where I'm going with the story is, MCDC, if he's going to be gambling, man, he's got to do it because that's who he is. I would like to see him on 4th and 7, maybe take a field goal versus, making a roll of the dice to see if he can get a touchdown, to your point, Ed. But end of the day, you got to go with what's right in your head, and we can all debate it from there, I guess. All right, Southwest, if you're going to keep players like Charles Harris on the roster, give him some snaps today, see if he has anything left. Yeah, and he's one of the ones I was surprised they kept him over Irvin. And that's just my opinion. The coaches see him more than we do. But Charles Harris, man, I don't know. Has anybody heard his name in a game? Maybe outside the first couple of weeks of the season. It's been a while. Brother Ken, Brent, you and I both know. Okay. 9 drinks. I unsubscribed to Grid a year ago when he backstabbed Micro Mike. Yeah, I don't know all the story there, or probably any of the story. I do know there appears to be some dislike for one guy over the other, and who knows why. I don't know the information there. All right. See, Southwest, this would be a good game to give some snaps to players like Gilmore, get him some more experience. Yeah, I'm anticipating you're going to see a lot of, guys like him, Broderick Martin, Scoresdale, et cetera. There will be a lot of guys who I'm thinking will get some significant snaps. And to be honest, guys, I'm looking forward to this game just for that reason. Will we see Hooker? Will we see, a lot of those guys that we've heard some bits and pieces about? Antoine Green, will we see him out there? Just all that stuff. I'm excited for today just for that reason. All right, Lions fan, greetings, salutations all. I've got a big question today. Do we see Hooker? There'll be a lot of people looking for hookers out and around Ford Field. So, yes, will we see Hooker on the field? It's a good question. I'm anticipating, but who knows? Goff's going to, and the starting offense is probably going to play a couple series, maybe the first quarter. And then from there, Teddy Bridgewater gets out there, maybe for a quarter or two. And then that would open up, obviously, the fourth quarter potentially for Hendon Hooker to get out there and get his NFL debut. All right, Bit Lady, have you heard the Vikings' key injuries and who is out for the game? Haven't had time to check it. I know they made a bunch of roster moves yesterday. But to be fair, Bit Lady, I have not had time. just because of my coaching responsibilities. I mean, I don't think I got back to the house till about 11 o'clock last night. And then, I had to hang out with Jen for a little bit because this time of year, we don't always get to hang out a lot. So, just being fair, I got up at 4 something today to finish up yesterday's coaching responsibilities and then get on here. So I did not have time, unfortunately. Somebody else, though, if you got some information, please throw it in the comments section below. All right, Robert, that syndicate dude is he is who he is, and hey, just as long as he believes he's doing right, go for it, brother. Just do what you got to do. So, all right, brother Ken, I unsubscribed myself. I also unsubscribed from that Moby dude. I guess I don't know who that is, especially dropping all those F bombs while hitting a bong. Yeah, I don't know who that is. So, Brent agreed, Southwest. Our depth guys hopefully get more meaningful minutes today. I would think they would. And Brent, like I said earlier, I'm really looking forward to seeing those guys out there. All right, Ed, I don't think CD will be here next year either. Giving demands and ultimatums to coaches would never a good idea. Yeah, and if I get you want to be on the field. I get you want, to help the team and all that. But you do have to watch your words sometimes. And I do think he's a passionate guy. I don't think he means ill will or anything like that. I just think he wants to be out there with the guys. All right, Lions fan at brother Ken. Both those guys are terrible people and seem to always want to try and take away from others. Insecure people, if you ask me. Well, they could be. I don't know. I'm assuming who you're talking about, and I don't know either one of them personally. So, oh well. All right, Robert, greetings and salutations all. And yeah, that Derek dude is strange. Yeah, it happens, man. One person's strange is another person's Doctor Strange. Who knows? Big M. Good morning, Dan. Duke crew. Finish strong with a win and please no injuries. Let's go Lions. One pride. Woo! Yeah, and I think that's ultimately, if they can achieve that today, to your point, Big M, just get out of the game, stay healthy, no big injuries or anything, and keep getting ready for that playoff game. Really, other than watching the players today, some of the guys that don't normally get a bunch of snaps, I think most of us are going to be scoreboard watching to figure out who exactly we're going to play in the playoffs. So stay healthy, get some new reps, and go from there and get ready for next week. Michael Greaves, the Salutations coach and Duke crew. What a great day for a Lions victory. Woo! And you know what, man? I've already got the Ric Flair stuff all set. So, yeah, I'll be looking forward to doing that after a postseason win. All right, Robert Yank, what do we got? Dan, what do you make of the CD Ducey comments lately? Sort of like I said a minute ago, I think he wants to be on the field. And I think he's an incredibly energized player. And not a bad thing, but sometimes maybe things come out of his mouth that he doesn't always actually mean. I think there's a lot of possibility to that. I think dude just wants to play and be competitive and wants to win. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's other thoughts, but that's my take at least. All right, Southwest, Bit Lady, out. Brian O'Neill, ankle. Cornerback, Brian Murphy, knee. Mikael Blackman, shoulder. Safety, Theo Jackson, toe. Receiver, Jalen Naylor, concussion. Hope he's okay. And defensive tackle, Jacqueline Roy, ankle. All right, yeah, that's a pretty good list for him. Quentin, what do you got? Anyone want to place bets how long them starters play this one? I say first quarter only. Yeah, I think there's a good possibility of that, Quentin. Yeah, I think you'll see him for a couple snaps. Maybe, like I was saying earlier, a drive or two. I do think with the defense, there might be more of a possibility for the starters to be out there 3 or 4 drives, again, just to try to work in some of the guys returning. All right, Trump's tidbit for today's research. False flag, go Lions. All right, go with that. Robert, I agree the starters won't be long, but I bet our backups just tear it up. Yeah, I mean, you're playing with house money here. You're just going for it. I'll be excited to see what they dial up both on offense and defense. Just maybe to test some things out, get some things on film, try to throw off a little bit or play a little chess match, if you will, with whoever they're going to face next week. Brother Ken, Lions fan number 1 agreed. Trash people is a good word. No use for copycat haters. It happens, man. It happens. All right, Frank, starters play all game. It could be. I know that's kind of what MCDC is alluding to, that he's going for it. You know what? If we can get the number 2 seed, we're going to go for it. we're going to play everybody and force Philly and the Cowboys to have to win their games. So you could be 100% right there, Frank. All right, Southwest, have you had time to look at draft prospects yet? All the top talent will be gone before we pick, so it's critical that we hit in the first pick for sure this year. I have, and I know I keep talking about doing the first mock draft. I need to get it out there. It had to be full disclosure. I know I mentioned it before. I think our first round pick, as late as it's going to be, I do believe it's going to be an offensive lineman. It just seems like the way the board's potentially at least going to fall. I mean, nobody knows for sure, but at least the way I see it falling as of right now, there's going to be better first round talent at our area with the offensive line than what I think would be some of our other needs, which would be cornerback, edge rusher, etc. Susan, Mr. Dan, it was brought to my attention you write books. Is that true? It is true. Yep, you can find some of my books and stuff on Amazon.com and other places like that. That's a story for another time, though. All right, Bit Lady at Southwest Line, thank you. Fired up for the last game of the year. Woo! Yeah, I think, man, and obviously there's zero stress on anybody here for the Lions. I mean, unless you really are thinking, hey, we're going to push for the number 2 seed or whatever. Really, this is just game to play with house money. Do whatever you want. Test players out. Test offensive, defensive schemes and principles out. So, yeah, just go out and let her rip, tater chip, whatever you want to say. Robert, depending on the score and how close it is. Okay, yep. Robert, now you can block Angela and Derek. I don't block anybody. I don't delete comments. I don't, do any of that stuff. I don't, chastise people. Have your opinion. As long as you're not rude about it, that's the only thing. Don't come in here and start yelling and screaming and, talking poorly about other people. I don't believe in censorship unless you're going to be you're just a rude person. At that point, you're crossing some lines, at least in my book. All right, Big Eddie, greetings and salutations. I want to see what some of the backups like Gilmore can do. Yeah, agreed. Me too, man. No stress this game. Let's see what guys like him got. Yeah, and it's an opportunity for some of the younger players, or to be fair, even some of the older players, to put something out there on film. We talk a lot about trying to secure, if you're a player, a new contract, or a coach too. And you want to keep doing that kind of stuff. You want to keep putting film out there for your representation, whether it's an agent or whoever, to go out there. And when you're trying to negotiate with teams to get a new contract or sign somewhere else, you've got something out there that they can look at and go, yeah, we might want this guy. So I think it's, while to you, me, and most of the fan base, it's probably not a huge game. For those guys, it is, because they are trying to secure film and get reps, improve, all these things. All right, Brother Ken. Frank, are you sure you want to have the Lions starters to play the whole game? Think about that, my brother. Everybody's going to have a different take on it. I know MCDC's at least somewhat said starters are going to play, whether or not they'll play the whole game. I know my take is, hey, a couple drives, that's about it. But I'm also not MCDC. I'm not the coaching staff. How much do you really want to go for that number 2 seed? The way I look at it, man, and it doesn't mean I'm right and somebody else is wrong. Everybody's got their own thing. I just think, man, the number 2 seed and the number 3 seed, what's the difference really? The potential to get one more home playoff game. I get it, and that is something. Would I risk a bunch of people's, bodies for that at this point in the season? Probably not. If I thought there was a higher probability, like if it was just, hey, if Dallas loses, we get the number 2 seed. That might be different, at least to me. I might go for it then. But the chances, at least my eyes, that Philly and both Dallas lose, it could happen, sure. But is the investment worth, or the risk, I guess is what I'd say. And that's where I don't know. That's where everybody's going to be different. Not one way's right and the other is wrong. It's just my opinion. And if you got a different one, that's totally fine. I got no issues with it. Trump's, I think CD is going to end up being a distraction. Let's hope not. Because if he is, he's probably on the sideline or even gone pretty quick. All right, Ed, what do you think the odds are Hooker plays a snap today? I think I'll give it a 70% chance, Ed. I'll go with that. I think it's pretty decent, especially if we look, somewhere in the latter part of the first quarter, or maybe just the end of the first quarter, and the starting offense is out. Because then, I get it. You want to get Bridgewater some run. let him, get his feet wet in case he's needed. So give him probably the second quarter, maybe part of the third quarter. If it was me, which it's not, I'd probably give Bridgewater, just knowing he's a vet, 10 years or so, I'd give him the second quarter, second half, Saul Hooker, because I want to see what this kid's got. How much can he learn, develop? How much stuff can we put on film? So in the off season, we can work with him on, hey, this, that, or we've established some things that, it'll be a limited sample size, but establish some things that we can see on film that, hey, we want to address this or that, etc. That's what I would do, though. All right, Don, good morning, everyone. Winter is finally kicked in here. I'll be chanting Hooker all game long. I don't think you're going to be alone, man. I think there is a lot of fans that want to see him out there. Just, he's the big mystery, right? The big question mark. And I'll say this, if they end up hitting on him and Broderick Martin does develop with Kobe Scoresdale, what a draft. I mean, think about, we all get the first four guys, you got something there. But now if you're talking about, you also got a quarterback, and even if he's just a very good, backup for the franchise for the next, 3-4 years, whatever, that says something. Broderick Martin, even if he's just a rotational piece for the next 3 or 4 years, that's something. Same with Scoresdale, same with Green. I mean, just the more you get out of these guys, it just looks like this draft was just an absolute monster home run for the coaching staff and front offices. All right, Trump, anyone that changes their name like a clown is a clown. All right, we'll go with that. All right. All right, Robert, starters will play until MCDC is comfortable with a winning score on the board, in my opinion. It could be. It would be really great if, both Philly and Dallas was playing at the same time as Detroit. They look up at the scoreboard and say, hey, we do have a shot at this thing, or we don't have a shot at this thing. But I also do believe that, the NFL wanted, probably had some idea a situation like this could happen today. So they staggered the games or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see what shakes out. Brent, is Broderick Martin playing today? We won't know for, 7:20 a.m. So we got a couple more hours until the inactives list officially comes out. But I'm anticipating he'll play just because you're probably resting some guys. So I'm thinking he'll be in there. All right, Jason, greetings and salutations. Vikings need to win, and Bears win, and Cardinals win, plus a Falcons or Panthers win. Good luck. Lions are motivated and ready. I predict we dominate the first half and the rest starters. Okay, I think that's a fairly fair prediction there, Jason. Pretty fair. And yes, the Vikings do have a lot of things that got to go their way. Southwest, I have no issue with anything CD Deuce said recently. He's an athlete, a competitor, works his butt off to get back early, and he brings valuable experience. Have been on 4 division-winning teams. Yeah, and I really just think, he's invested so much time into trying to recuperate to get back to the team and get back on the field, like you're saying, Southwest, that I think that's where a lot of his, words and comments come from, is just a desire to perform and help the team. But I could be way wrong. Jess, what do you got at? Brent, I'm hoping him and Gilmore get time. Maybe Green too. Yeah, I think they all have the real good potential to get out there too. Southwest, yeah, Green is another one. Get him some snaps, 100%. Philly boy, good morning. Good morning to you too, man. Hopefully you're having a great one. Hopefully you're having a do. Pat Rock, greetings and salutations all. Martin, Hooker, Gilmore, Green should all get good time and reps. I would agree. I think they will be out there. And how long? Who knows? But I'm guessing, yeah, you're going to see a lot of guys like that trying to put stuff on film. Pat, good morning, Phil. Good morning. Yep. All right, Southwest, it's like walking and chewing gum. You can play your starters, but this is a good game to get some of these other players like Charles Harris, Gilmore, Antoine Green some snaps. Yeah, and agreed with that. Donovan Peoples-Jones and Green need some targets today. Yeah, that's a good point there, Brent, about Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yeah, haven't seen a ton of him. Here's a great opportunity to kind of really get him some snaps, get him some run, and yeah, see, is this guy something for us or not? Ed, if Goff the best Lions quarterback since Kramer? Is Goff the best Lions quarterback since Eric Kramer? Man, I don't know about that. We'll see. To me, Eric Kramer still deserves a platinum gold statue with diamonds and everything, maybe a Ric Flair robe around him and endless Mountain Dew pouring out of a fountain behind him until somebody else wins a playoff game. Because you know what? Still to this day, 30 years later, he's the only Lions quarterback to do it. So somebody needs to equal and then supersede him. And hopefully that happens next week as far as equaling the amount of wins a quarterback has in the Super Bowl era in the postseason for the Lions. All right, Trump, no game today. Gotta throw down some brick. All right. What are you building? Brick oven or a house? Let me know, man. That's good work for you, man. That's no joke. Southwest are right, especially with JMO out. Yeah, I think they're doing the right thing with keeping him out. Just let him rest up and heal. Get him as close to 100%, if not 100%, before next weekend's game. All right, Robert. Eagles lose, Dallas lose, Lions win. Lions get number 2 seed. Then in the second round, Dallas has to come to Detroit. You could be onto something there, Robert. Who wouldn't rather have them come here versus there? And maybe that is what MCDC is saying. Well, I'll be watching the game to see if he pulls starters or when he does, because that will be a strong indication if he really feels there is some potential to make that happen. So we'll see what shakes. All right, Big M, win number 12 coming today. Pound the rock all game. I like the way you're thinking. And, man, I hope they're as aggressive as all get out on defense today. Go after Mullins. I don't care who's in, but just pound him endlessly, left and right, with people hitting him. And I don't want anybody to get hurt. And I'm not going there. But you know what? If you get rattled where you throw another 4 picks today, great. Great. It won't hurt. All right, Southwest. I think it's a toss-up between Goff and Stafford. But, hey, Goff led this team to a division title. That's an accomplishment. Yeah. And I don't think anybody outside of Kramer or Goff has achieved that in the Super Bowl era. So, I love Stafford to death. I thought, man, that dude put his body on the line for us for over a decade. It wasn't all his fault why the team didn't always perform better. A lot of blame to go around. But with all that said, there's only 2 guys who have been quarterbacks and won division titles here in Detroit in the last 60 years, and that is Goff and Kramer. All right, Southwest, excuse me, Brother Ken, Southwest, I agree. Let's get reps for the other players. Agreed, 100%. Bit Lady, Branch can play some out of the nickel, so I think they have some moving parts, even if all 3 iffy in CD2 are on the field. Time and communication with mates, ironing out wrinkles is main objective today. Yeah, and I think that's you're spot on with that, Bit Lady, and I think that's why the secondary may get extra series or 2 is just to try to work on some of that stuff before next weekend's game. Ed W, what do you got? Will Monty and Gibbs get to 1,000 yards today? Obviously Montgomery has a pretty good shot. He's 25 away, and Gibbs is 80 yards or so away. So how important it is to the coaching staff or the players to achieve that I don't know. I know who's the other one. Laporta needs like 120 or something like that more receiving. So could they go for those things? Sure. How much are you going to risk getting injuries to those guys to make that happen? That's, I think, the deep dive debate that the coaches have to struggle with. All right, Jerome. Good morning, Coach. Coach, how do you know if a player is being targeted, and is that coach to do so? If you mean targeted, like trying to be hurt by another team, I guess you just got to watch the game flow and see if somebody's going after them. If you mean offensively, like they're specifically trying to do stuff for them, same thing. If they're running a ton of different plays or abnormal formations, things outside their norm to try to get somebody in that category. So in this case, maybe Laporta tries to get some extra plays or whatever to get them extra catches, or Gibbs or Monty. Yeah, these would, if a team is willing to do stuff outside their normal schematics to try to achieve something, that's a tell they're targeting them. All right, but again, ironing out wrinkles. I like that, Bit Lady. Yeah. That's. I think you're 100% right. I think they're going to be trying to achieve some of that today. Robert G, I sure hope so. Ed, okay. Southwest, Antoine Green is a guy I wish they had tried to work into the rotation more. He certainly has the speed. Yeah, and maybe that's something they try to do in this next off season. Uh, just try to get him some stuff in OTAs and then obviously the preseason. But to your point, Southwest, yeah, he's got some turbo boost. He's got some speed, and this team, I think, going forward, needs to find ways to get more speed on offense and defense. They've done some of that with the defensive side of the ball in the last month. On offense, I mean, you've got some real good skilled players for sure, but I think the wide receiver room, that's something they need to go and continue to address, because speed is one of those things like height. Nobody can teach it. Can't do it. I've tried looking in the mirror, making myself taller for 51 years. It ain't happened yet. Probably not going to happen by now. And if they can add more and more speed out there, especially since the majority of their games every season are going to be indoor, it's only going to help. Big M. All right. I like the idea of rotating our safeties, keep them fresh. One of the deepest positions on the Lions. Yes, it is, and it might be the deepest position in all the NFL. When you look at the Lions safeties versus other teams, there's not going to be many teams that are going to be able to stack up at a safety standpoint like what we can put on the field. All right, Ed, what do we got? Good morning, Coach. Thank you for keeping us Lions fans to speed on the Lions. Don't let the clickbaiters bother you. Just keep being who you are, and that's why I listen every morning while you're fishing, hopefully. Hey, like you said yesterday, I really don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. I do only have a problem with it when you try to suggest I said something I didn't, and something, especially when they were trying to take it to in my opinion, a BS level. But it is what it is. It probably is, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's probably bigger commentary about them than it is anything else. So moving on. All right, Jason, JG, I'm going to give you a grace period, but after that, it's up. Okay, well, if grace period, I mean, do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do. Jerome, hey, Coach, do you chastise a player in front of the team or in private? It really depends on the situation and also the player. Some players, like I was talking about it, let's see, we had a game yesterday, then we had a game Friday. So Friday we had a game, and I know there's one particular player. They perform way better when you get on them, when you push those buttons. And I did talk to them after the game about it, and they smiled and they laughed. They got it because before that moment of clarity I offered, they were not playing their best. But after that, they came out, ball of fire. They were good to go. We'll put that way. Brent, yes, pound that rock and do in the Vikings. I like the way you're thinking, Brent. Very much so. Jason, that's awfully bold. I'll go with that. Mr. Ed, go Lions. Yeah, and I think, man, I do think you're just house money all day long. You're going to go after them offensively, defensively. It would not be an easy game for the Vikings, I think, to play in, because everybody's coming after you on every play. I'm excited to watch. Again, there's no stress or pressure today. I just think it's going to be a fun game to watch. All right, Garland, good morning, all. I'm hungry for a Lions win today. I'm hungry, period. But yes, for a Lions victory. Frank, I'm hoping that the Lions wild card game isn't Sunday night or Monday. Third shifter. Gotcha. Yeah, I think they're just, my opinion, I think they need to get rid of the Monday night playoff game. To me, that's just such a disadvantage. If you end up playing Monday night and you end up playing somebody who played Saturday, I mean, they've got 48 hours more rest to recover. I guess they could. They probably do have their coaching staffs breaking down film nuances of both teams, at least to get some stuff going ahead of time. So, yeah, I think that's all I'm asking is don't make us the Monday night game. All right, Jerome, good morning, Coach. Can players and coaches' families be interviewed in the NFL and air out some frustrations? As far as you mean in-house, families, probably not, because at any professional team level, they just don't care what the families are going to say. They're worried about the player. Doesn't mean you don't ever hear from a family member, but I would tell you it's no different than your job. I mean, you and your boss or whoever has a disagreement, they don't want mom and dad coming on in and talking to you. It's too much. But do coaches and players have meetings sometimes and talk about stuff? For sure. 100%. It happens, I'd say, fairly frequently. Trump's CJ Dunn, a lot of talk. Let's see what he has. Very overrated. Well, let's see what he goes out there and does. He could be a huge playmaker for us, especially going into the postseason. So I'm hoping he's exactly that, because that would be beneficial to the team. All right, Southwest, they have the running backs on a snap count. I think they should be doing that with receivers, DBs, offensive line, defensive line, linebackers. Yeah, and to your point, I think they're probably going to do that. They're going to limit what everybody's out there. Unless they really do just play everybody all game long and go for it, I think, yeah, to your point, Southwest, there will be a bit of a snap count. All right, Southwest for today. Let's get a lot of these players who haven't been playing some time in game experience. You can still play the starters and do that as well. Yeah, and I think you're going to have a mixture of all that. Robert G, I trust in MCDC. That's how we got here. That is a great point. He's, him and Brad Holmes, Spielman, all those guys, they've turned things around. They got things moving. So while we might not always fully understand the wisdom behind some choices, you do have to give them their dues and say, hey, they got us here. Let's not turn on them. Jerome, hey, coach, is it tough taught to players how to get holding penalties or pass interference calls? 1,000%. Good players, especially veteran players, learn how to maybe get some advantages here and there. We'll put it that way. I can tell you one of the first assignments I ever had, one of the first things I was taught is that, hey, and this is just an example, what color is the other team's jersey? Well, when you tape up your wrists or whatever, and if you're a defensive back, you better tape them up that color. Why? Because when I rip into that jersey and maybe try to tug it in tighter windows, it's a whole lot harder to see that hand and wrist if it blends with the jersey. And there's tons of stuff like that. Offensive linemen, they did put in rules, I don't even remember, we'll say 20 years ago, to try to fight that taping rule. So now it's supposed to be the predominant color of your uniform, not the opposing teams. But the point is just simply being that, yeah, there's a lot of nuances like that veteran players pick up on and learn how to potentially use to their advantage. So, Jerome, yes, 100%. Some form of, I guess you call it, playing chess does happen. Brother Ken, yes, it's game 17. Let's see what these guys can do. Yes, 100%. Matthew, greetings and salutations. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you too. Single dads, greetings and salutations. I hope Gibbs, Monty break the 1,000 yards today. Let's go. Yeah, that'd be a heck of an achievement if they get two backs out there, somehow get Laporta there and St. Brown. I mean, I think we all get they've had a heck of an offense this year, and that would just be another level. So, Robert, congratulations, Coach, on your win. Yeah, a heck of a season so far. I think we're 8-1 so far. Only loss being in double overtime. So yeah, it's been a pretty good season so far. All right, Black Lion. What's the word after Sheila met with Lion Goodell? Anything? So I did get some stuff Friday, and to be honest, it just sounds like they talked. I don't get the sense from anything I was told that really the NFL is going to do anything about it. I think we all know they put out the video just about how to report and stuff like that. It sounds like it was a more of a Festivus moment, the airing of grievances. If you all remember Seinfeld and Festivus, but nothing pertinent, nothing breaking. The NFL is not going to change the course of the game. They're not going to replay it or anything like that. So, yeah, basically, I'm guessing Fordham was able to get some probably clarity on some stuff and get some things off her chest, and really that's about it, at least that I know of. Draw morning, Coach, when tackling, do the player get to develop his own style? To a certain degree, yeah, and a lot of that's going to come down to your coaching staff, how they teach things, what kind of freedoms they give you. There's most people, so if you played the position and you were successful at it, I'm guessing you're going to view that however you were taught or performed on the field, that's how you're going to want other players to, because that's going to be, basically your sound wisdom, if you want. And I'll just say that most of the time, coaches want you to mimic what they want you to learn. Maybe a few of them give you some freedoms and nuances here. And as you become a more veteran player, if you're more established, then they probably give you a little bit more freedom. All right, Big D. Let's flipping go. One pride. I really think we are gonna play with an edge today. Yeah, I'm with you there. I think you're, like I said earlier, you're playing with house money. You're just gonna roll the dice every play, and why not? Because you don't win, it doesn't, it doesn't really cost you anything. You do win, then hey, you got the potential to get the number 2 seed. So why not go for it on every play and see what you can do? Jay Mommy, hey, how you been? I haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you, though. Long time Lions Talk Liver, and good to see you in the chat. Ducey couldn't even get past Branch. He had to play another position. He needs to earn his spot back. His stats weren't even that impressive, but I think he can help the Lions. Yeah, and if nothing else, he's just another person to put out there, see what they can do, and, add some more coverage skills, because that's one thing he can do. But obviously, we haven't seen him in several months. So let's just see what does happen. Maybe Aaron Glenn's got some ideas with some stuff. And that's why I was saying earlier, I do think that the secondary is going to probably be out there a few more snaps than a lot of other positions, potentially, just for that reason, to iron things out, as Bit Lady said earlier. All right, got something in my eye here. All right. Thank you. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Lions roar at home. We will win and set ourselves up for a deep playoff push, maybe a Super Bowl appearance. We got to believe and trust the process. Let's go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. And, you're going to have some real motivation for whoever you play against at Ford Field, because I do think this team is narrow, laser-like focused on setting up a rematch with Dallas, whether that's here, there, whatever. I think they want the Cowboys, and they want them bad. They want to go after it. And that's going to be, you get through that first opponent in the playoffs, that's going to have all eyes across the nation, probably. I think that's actually fair to say, across the nation. Everybody's going to be tuning in for that game, because they're going to feel like the Lions got job, which we did. It's going to be a huge setup for that game. All right, Jerome. Hey, coach, do you allow players to yell at each other, or your assistant coaches to yell at each other? No, you can't have that. It doesn't mean in the heat of a moment from time to time, words can't be exchanged. That does, and it's going to happen at every level. But yeah, you can't allow it to happen all the time, because otherwise it's just going to tear a team apart. All right, Gary, excuse me. I told my grandson if the Lions and Dallas play was close and something weird would happen, it cost the Lions game. It does seem like that is a repeatable thing, doesn't it? When the Lions play specific teams, that yes, something odd will pop up. So I think you're 100% right there. All right, Brent, 64 today, and all I want for my birthday is another Lions win. Well, hopefully they can make that happen for you, and happy birthday to you, my friend. Hopefully you have a great one. Maybe even add in a Mountain Dew to your day. Brother Ken, really? Okay. Single Dad's Club, happy birthday, Brent. Yes, 100% so. Everybody wish him happy birthday. Gary, hey, Kevin, Strong was released. Lions should bring him back. That's the thought. I wonder if they'll look at that. Phil's Syndicate is always complaining about something his show has never caught on. It happens. Nine Drink, happy birthday, Brent. Yes, 100%. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you, man. Robert G, no points are guaranteed. Lots of field goals, not extra points are missed every day. Just saying. You got a point there. Jay Mommy, Sheila is the best thing that has happened to the Lions in decades. And signing Spielman was huge. My favorite Buckeye. probably in Michigan, he's probably a lot of Michigan fans' favorite Buckeye, just because of how well he performed for the Lions. To your point, though, Sheila, yeah, it's the best thing that's happened to the Lions in decades. There's without question, she is vastly different than the rest of her family. I mean, she is vested into this team where, I'll say it to the day I die. Mr. Clay Ford, great human being, phenomenal human being. I don't think you'll find anybody who's worked for him that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody, but the point is the vast majority of people have worked for him. Nothing but sung his praises. Incredibly giving person. I do also think that he was not exactly a great owner for the Lions, just because he was so hands-off and sometimes allowed people who weren't great at their job to stick around for longer than they should have. His wife took over, and I never had the sense it's not like she gave zero damn, but I just don't think it was really part of her day. She didn't really care at the end of the day if the team won or not. Where to your point, J Mommy, with Sheila, yeah, she cares. She's got some nails, we'll put it that way, and she wants results. um, One funky, Michael Mike is like that too. He blocked when he called Alex a journeyman when he first signed here. I explained that the guy signing his second contract at 25 doesn't qualify as one. He's so yeah. I mean, some people do take umbrage when you have a different opinion of them. I don't. I love when you guys come in here, and some of you guys have in the past said, "Hey, Dan, that is the stupidest idea ever." You might be right. It might have been a bad idea. So, yeah, good communication. Hey, everybody take a moment, pause, and consider somebody else's thoughts and go from there. All right, Southwest J Mommy, Lions wouldn't be here where they are without Sheila's leadership. I would agree with that 1000%, without question. One funky dude went off on me over it, calling me everything outside my name. Well, I'll call you one funky. How about that? Well, hopefully that helps even things out there. Dr. Detroit, Grit is so silly, dude, and always has something going on with others. Lies, and there are videos where he is caught. The other dude is trying to copy Dan, like in every way. He is a silly clown too. It happens. I mean, people copy it all the time, and just is what it is. I would say this from a coaching standpoint: if you got an offense or a defense or whatever it is, and people think it's good, they're going to try to copy it. So, yeah, it's just part of that world. All right, Black Lion, do you know what happened after the Sheila Goodell meeting? Anything transpire? I mean, somebody asked this Black Lion a couple minutes ago, and basically nothing. I mean, they talked. She probably was allowed to get some frustration off her chest, express her points eloquently, I'm sure, to Goodell. But at the end of the day, if something comes from it, the only thing I'm guessing, based on what little I got information wise, is that the Lions probably aren't going to get, for a while, refereeing crews that aren't A or B crews, especially in the postseason. And I guess if and to be fair, and it's not, you got me thinking about it. If I'm Sheila Ford Hamp, I always mess that one up. That's probably ultimately my ultimate goal going to the postseason. I don't want the D or C list officials. What does that mean? It's not like these guys are bad or those crews are bad. It just means that they're probably developing crews. They don't have a ton of reps or whatever. When the Lions were bad for, 1,000 years since the 90s, I understand a little bit more why those type of crews were assigned to us, because you know what? The Lions weren't a big game. You need to get those crews experience just like you need to get players experience. And yes, the NFL, just like everywhere else, has a shortage of officials, especially quality ones. But now that you are a relevant team, should you still be getting, crews that aren't the greatest? And I'm going to guess at the end of the day, if you're trying to play chess with Goodell, that's what you're trying to achieve. So if we get into that playoff game and there's not a great set of officials there, that's probably a big tell that Goodell's probably expressing himself towards the Fords with a finger, and you'll probably get where I mean with that. Gary, I'd like to see Hooker today. Me too. And I think a lot of people have that circled that hopefully he gets in today, and maybe just a quarter. I'm hoping for a half, but I probably won't get my desire on that. J Mommy, Hooker hasn't seen enough practice. I see the Lions working with him during the offseason. Yeah, I think they're going to work with him, to your point, a ton during the offseason. I'm just hoping he gets out there because I'm a selfish fan. I want to see what this kid's got. If I'm a coach, maybe he's got enough with a couple different formations or plays where you could run it for just a quarter or so. Sorry, man. Again, gonna have to get a drink here in a little bit, get some water. Southwest Black Lion, I haven't heard anything. Put it this way: the NFL is never going to publicly say the Lions are right and the NFL is wrong. This is correct. Yeah, Goodell, especially with the Lions, I think is going to bite his tongue a lot. Black Lion, I figured, just want to ask. Yeah, fire away. You got questions? Put them in the comment section. Wong Funky, J Mommy, he's been active for 5 weeks. That's plenty of time to get a drive or two. Yeah, and he might get a drive or two. All right, One Funky, maybe more than 5 weeks by now. It could be. I know they took him off the 21 day and they added him to the roster. So you could be right. It could be 5-6 weeks, somewhere there in that range. I like Dr. Detroit. Like I was saying to the Sheila, ref thing is a PR thing. Yeah. And I think ultimately, probably a lot of that is true where they're just trying to put something out there. The other part is, like I was saying, I think she's probably trying to achieve some sort of line of communication with Goodell to stop the rash of odd calls against the team or her team. All right, Southwest, I'd like to see Hooker get a drive at 2 as well. This is a perfect game to get players with no experience some snaps. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and I think we'll probably see a lot of those type players out there. Thomas, I would really like to see Hooker play some today. Yeah, and again, I think you're speaking for the majority of fans there, Thomas, where you want to see him out there, see what the kid's got, see that cannon, see him shake and bake, whatever. Let's see what he can do. Ed, what is your honest take on which team you would not want to face in the playoffs? Ooh. Let's see. So let's look here. We got the Rams, Packers. Who's another real strong option? Is Seattle a strong option? I mean, I guess let's go with those three. Out of those three, who would be the one I'd want the least? Maybe the Packers, just because of the familiarity with both teams. They do have the ability to get after the quarterback, and let's be fair. Any team that makes it to the postseason has some pretty good strengths. There's a reason why they're in the postseason. Matchup wise, though, I think that would be probably the least ideal. But they're all going to be able to hit you in different ways. I'll go with that for now. I think, thinking off the top of my head and off the cuff, I would say that, the Packers are probably the least desirable matchup. Dr. Troy, CD2 needs to chill. We need him for this run. We do 1,000%. 1,000%. Gary, nice to see Ravens coming back down to earth. Yeah, and they lost. Big win for the Steelers, 1,000%. Black Ravens didn't play the starters. Yeah, I'm aware of that. So, but still a big win for the Steelers. I know Tomlin's been under some fire this year. He's got the potential to get them to the postseason. One funky, any fans that are against Hooker playing today is scared golf slappy to me. You have no reason other than you don't want to see someone that could be better than your savior. I mean, I'll just say this. I know somebody on one of the, I don't remember what show it was. Maybe it was the Chris Sims, whatever, saying that somehow Goff might be distracted or whatever, unsettled if Hooker comes in and plays well. Man, I would say this: you can't worry about it. And I don't think Goff is going to be worried about it this year if Hooker goes out there and plays well in a drive or two or something like that. You just got to go out there, get people reps, see what you got. Does he play today? Who knows? We'll find out later today and go from there. All right. Aaron E., would really love to see Gibbs get his 1,000. Yeah, him get 1,000, Laporta get 1,000, and Montgomery get 1,000. Yeah, that would be great. All right, Southwest, CD getting into a rotation. I'm cool with it, but I mean, how can I say this? I don't want to sound like I'm selfish or in a bleep, but I ain't getting back early to be in rotation. Yeah, and I think that's all. I said it earlier. He worked his tail off to be able to get back on the field. I think he wants to play. He wants to perform. You can read that comment 20 different ways. Everybody, you read it the way you want. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, I think it sounds like a guy who wants to be out there and hitting, making plays for the team, helping the team get in the post, make a deep run in the postseason. JDC, woo, so number one. Coach Dan, Lions Talk Live. That's who. Well, thanks for that, JDC. That was well done, man. Well done. Nathan, good morning, Duke crew. Let's go, Lions, and hopefully you're having a good morning too. All right, Ed, if we win the Super Bowl, I believe Decker will retire and the center. Oh, wow, yeah. We win the Super Bowl. Could that happen? Absolutely could. Frank Ragnow is who you're talking about as the center. I hope not, just because I'm selfish. I want them to keep playing, but you could be right. Maybe they say that's enough. That's as good as it's ever going to be. I'm ready to be done. So we'll wait and see what shakes out. Southwest, I support Jared Goff. Hope he gets an extension, but he needs to be reasonable about it. Like most quarterbacks, he can't do it alone. No, he needs people around him, and it's very clear he's a pretty good quarterback when he's got those parts around him. When he doesn't, that would raise an eyebrow. Phil, Brad is better in the low rounds. Yeah, he strikes gold, and give that credit to the scouting teams that they have out there, the scouting personnel. All right, Jay Mommy, I believe that free agents will be calling the Lions after the season. You might be right with that, because it's clear everybody likes playing the vast majority of players like playing for MCDC. Now you got a culture of winning too. It's a good combination. And you get to play indoors. As much as some people bemoan the turf, the Lions have been addressing it. They even spent a ton of money getting basically the 2025 or 26 turf that they were going to import into Ford Field, getting that there this season, just because Ford Hamp wanted to try to focus on player safety a little bit more. All right, when does the Flair costume appear? Maybe I'll have to try it out today if the Lions win. If not, then after the postseason win. But it is literally on my backpack right next to me, so I got it all set. It is ready. All right, Southwest. Even Patrick Mahomes, he has not been nearly as good because he doesn't have the talent that he had in the past supporting him. Yeah, and you're not wrong. You take talent away from people, you have to do more of the workload on your own shoulders. It does affect people. Germ Free, hey Dan, unfortunately, that syndicate dude is probably trolling us right now. It happens, man. I mean, I don't know everybody's age in the chat, but I'm guessing most of you live life long enough where not everybody's gonna like you. It happens. Move on. Enjoy life. Life's too short, man. Focus on the good things, not the negatives. All right, Phil, a rookie against Jefferson, don't want to ruin him. Hey, I guess that's one way to grow up and develop in a hurry. So it's probably going to happen a little bit today, because Minnesota, they have no reason to take guys out. They're trying for their playoff lives, as remote a chance it may be. They know this. Next week, they're all on vacation. So we'll see how long their guys play, but I'm guessing they'll play the entire game. All right, one funky on first round talent. KC in the last few years has drafted George Kalafis, who has been the number 2 most productive DE/linebacker in the Hutch draft, and Nick Bolton, who is better LB than we have. This is true. They've drafted pretty well. Black Lion, half of the goals I have for Lions is done. Let's win a playoff game. Yeah, I think if you talk to people before the season, and you said, hey, we get 11 wins, 12 wins, you get the division title, and you get a playoff win, I gotta imagine just about every Lions fan would say, yeah, sign me up for that. That sounds like a great season. All right, Jason, NFC North summer ceremony. It's time to celebrate how far we've come this season. This train has a lot of momentum. I can see this happening for the next few years with this talent. Yeah, and if they keep adding talent, yeah, it's going to be a fun ride for a while. Southwest winning the division is definitely an accomplishment. The next gorilla is to get off your back as a playoff game. Yeah, agreed. Anthony, good morning, Duke crew. Getting ready to head my butt to the D for the game. Well, go enjoy it, man. Hopefully have a great one. So have a great time and enjoy it. Dr. Detroit, Derek is a complete loser, weirdo, gridiron person, or the ladies. Oh boy, syndicate. Yep, I'll go with that. All right, one funky. Not to mention last year the Lions drafted Laporta and Branch on day 2. That quality of player at the end of the first are still high quality. They're just not stuck off by the media. Yes, agreed. And I get the media when it was all happening live, raised a lot of eyebrows, had some questions. Probably a lot of people bemoaned some of the picks. I don't think they're doing that so much anymore. All right, Terrence, heading downtown in 2 hours to get my tailgating spot. Woo! Well, enjoy it. Yeah, I got to set up a Lions Talk Live tailgate next year. So, but go enjoy it today, Terrence. Hopefully you have a great one. Hopefully the Lions do something special and, get you a win here today. Eisenhower, is Dan Campbell coach of the year? He's going to definitely be in the running, ain't he? Look what they've done with the team, the franchise. Look where the Lions record is, the division. He's definitely going to be in the running for sure. Black Lion, imagine Dallas losing to Washington. They would be exposed as frauds they are. Yeah, and you know what? We're talking about a team that has nothing to lose. That's the Commanders. They're going to come on out. They've got some guys like Sam Howell where they're playing for their career here today, at least at the Washington. He wants to remain the starting quarterback. He's probably aware that there's some potential they could try to replace him in the draft or free agency, I guess. So, yeah, Washington's definitely got a lot of guys looking for contracts or to remain with the team. Dr. Troy, not after last week. No. Okay. Southwest Lion, next year will be a real good test for Brad Holmes, having to draft later in rounds. Let's hope he can find some more gems later in the draft. He's done it before. Yeah, and he's drafted, I think we could say, pretty damn well. All right, Phil, did your team win yesterday? Your voice sounds okay. Yep, we won Friday. We won yesterday. So now they got today off. I told them, hey, go ahead and take 4 hours off. We'll see you all Monday. And yeah, they're doing incredibly well. All right, thanks for asking, Phil. Dr. Troy, I would like to see some seasoned vets. You know, you're probably getting the point, Dr. Troy, in the offseason where you look at the structure of the team. I can see them adding a few key parts here and there in free agency that are vets that help elevate particular sides of the ball. I agree with the three straight 2-point tries, and we'll die on that hill. Nothing wrong with that. You know, you get one of them, the game, I mean, there's still 20 some seconds left, but the game might be over at that point. And so, yeah, I get your logic there, man. All right, Southwest Line. I think Kevin Stravinsky is going to get the coach of the year on his fourth quarterback. No Nick Chubbs for most of the season. You know, he did everything he could to keep the Vikings relative to your point, Southwest. He faced a lot of adversity. He nearly pulled it off where he got him into the postseason. I mean, I guess technically still they could do it today, but I think he's definitely going to be the running. Let's go with that. All right, Black Lion, I think rotating players. Okay, yeah, and I think, you'll probably see a lot of that today. Eisenhower, it's going to be Teddy if Jared Goff sits. It's his last game. Yeah, and to your point, let him go out there, get some reps. And the other part is, too, if something should happen where he's got to come in this season for Detroit, you just want to be as prepared as possible. All right, guys, just a couple more, and then it's probably due time for me. So, Justin, what's up, guys? And what's up with you? Hopefully having a good one. Mike, Cheeseheads are on their way back to okay, cowards. All right. Mike, we let to have the division this year of the pity. Yeah, we let you have the division for the pity. Well, thanks for that. Take presents any way you can do it, man. Mr. Fukuda, Packers don't run nothing without Rodgers. There could be a lot of truth to that. 9 Drinks, good morning. Big Guns, Justin, good morning to you too. 9 Drinks. One Funky, if you're not against him, who do you bring up the narrative of negatives? This fan base drives me crazy. It's always back and forth, trying to play both sides. It's kind of, it happens, man. It happens, man. Nothing big. All right, a couple more here. Bit Lady, smash that like button, guys. Let's get the subs up to 6K this week. Man, wouldn't that be something? And thank you for that. And I've told you guys a few times, I can't see the likes on this side of the screen. So if you haven't subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Also hitting that thumbs up button. All right, 1 or 2 more here. Mike, the Cheeseheads roll. Okay, we'll go with that. Who doesn't like cheese on their pizza? Alex, hey, stop looking for attention. Go to a Packers chat. I'm cheesy. Well, hey, like I said, who doesn't like cheese? And Phil, a little trash talk is okay. It's football. Yeah. Trey, one Funky. Most of the fans won't be hanging on to Goff until they realize he's not the answer at the last moment. Well, let's hope he's the answer this year at least. But grand rising to you, Trey. Hopefully you have a great day. It's called gamesmanship. All right. 8-1. Yes, we've had a pretty good start to the year. James, I really think we should rest our starters. Yeah, and I think I get what MCD is saying. He's going to play him for a bit, but we'll see how long that bit is. All right. Bet Lady, happy birthday, Brent. Yes, happy birthday to him. James, I really don't see the point of playing our starters. It's a meaningless game. Yeah, and maybe they don't play long. All right, Aaron E. I want to see Hutchinson get 2 sacks today. Yeah, that would. I mean, if he gets anything today, he's got a new career high. So hopefully he can do something. Phil, Chat Sports is pretty aggravated when it comes to criticism. Yeah, it happens, man. Some people don't like people telling them different opinions than what they have, but to me, I just it doesn't bother me. All right, Phil, I'd rather see Teddy get a swan song game. He might get that today. Brent, excuse me, Southwest Brent, happy birthday. Mike, hey, thanks for that. I'd like to see Hooker play today too. Thanks for that. I will buy the morning Mountain Dew with that, my friend. Thank you so much. Lorraine, Rex Ryan covered the 2-point trick play from a coach's perspective as to what he got into the head of the ref would discuss pregame. It's good. Fans should do a search on Rex Ryan. It's interesting. Yeah, Rex is, he's coached a long time. Obviously, his dad was a phenomenal coach. His brother is a pretty good coach. Yeah, he knows a few things. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Detroit D, I think they play him just to showcase his skills in case they want to trade him if they were signed off. Oh, that is another point, too, that you got there, Detroit D. Yeah, they could try to just put some film out there on him. Extreme Shaft, if they win, they will not lose. All right. That is a great quote. I might steal that one, man. If they win, they will not lose. All right, Harrisville. If Hooker was all that, someone would have picked him second round, even with the injury. Kid needs 2-3 years to learn the pro game. There could be some truth to that. All right, John Martin, we play everybody. It's time to start stomping people. Don't let the refs decide. Go out there and dominate. Agreed. All right, guys, been on an hour and 7, so we're going to call it a show here for today. I will have the post-game show on later today, so if you want to jump on after the game's done, I'll be up here ready, probably have a Mountain Dew in me or so. But hope you all have a great day. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so, making that push to get us to 5,600 subs. If we could do that today or before the playoff game, that'd be great. Maybe even like the lady said, maybe get us to 6,000 subscribers. Hit that thumbs up button. Enjoy your day. Hug a friend. Do something nice. Cheer on the Lions. And we'll see you all on the post-game show later today on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.